actually told initially it is Maryland kicking it away in the all-white Penn State in their home blues. And because of the penalty, a short kick fielded at the 20 by Haley, and he will get out to the 35-yard line. One more interception than he had a year ago at this time, and half as many touchdowns. And Hackenberg will throw it on first down, and he drops it off to his tight end, Jesse James, out across the 40-yard line. James, the junior out of Westport, Pennsylvania, picks up 9. The story for the Nittany Lions, it's been a struggle to run the football with a very inexperienced offensive line. That's caused some problems for Hackenberg. He's been sacked 25 times. They need Belton and Hamilton to be playmakers for them here this afternoon. And here is Dashawn Hamilton, the freshman, with the catch, picks up the first down as he's brought down by Will Likely. Hamilton is a guy they are hoping can pick up some of the pace. They lost Zach Zwinak, one of their other guys. They've had a 3-man rotation. He's out for the year and ended his career due to an injury. So it'll just be Belton and Lynch today, primarily in the backfield. You've got Trips left, and they'll run it the other way with Shaquille Lynch. He gets across midfield into Maryland territory. Sean Davis with the tackle. Davis defensively, Joey, has moved from safety to cornerback. Jeremiah Johnson is out, so a big change amongst the DBs.
Yeah, and if I'm Penn State, I'm going to find out if Davis can play corner. He's been a safety all season long. Moving out wide is a much different game. I would find out how well he can cover out at corner.
And of course, the big question for the Penn State offense is that offensive line. They had to make some adjustments last week, some more changes coming this week. And the whistle prior to the snap. Jerry McGinn, our referee today.
Snap infraction, number 55 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
That is the new center today, making his first start, Wendy Laurent. And number 55 with the twitch there prior to the snap. Laurent turning around to check with Christian Hackenberg. It is Lynch offset in the backfield. Another short pass out in the flat, caught by Jesse James. We saw a lot of those pass plays against Ohio State. We expect another steady diet of those short out routes today.
Yeah, a lot of screen passes. Get the ball out of Christian Hackenberg's hands. We talked about the sacks, the number of times he's been hit, the young offensive line. The best way to avoid that for this team this year, because they don't have a lot of experience up front, just throw the quick pass, get it out of his hands.
3rd and 5 for Penn State. Empty backfield for Hackenberg. Hamilton is slotted left. Hackenberg looking that way, now turns to the right and fires it across the middle, and it's caught for a first down by Gino Lewis.
Nice job by Hackenberg, standing in the pocket here. Nice blocking up front. Waits on Lewis to come across the field, delivers a strike, and you can see him surveying the field. And that's what he's not been able to do because of the protection. This time, Lewis comfortable in the pocket. When he's given time, he throws the ball as well as anybody.
He barely had to move there, Joey, and both coaching staffs talked about his feet and how he's so much better when he can get set. And he was set on that play. Receiver screen to Lewis. And for more on the O-line, down to Paul Carcaterra.
Well, Beth, Penn State's thinnest position, the offensive line, took another hit today. Its lone returning starter, left tackle Donovan Smith, was a game-time scratch due to an undisclosed injury, and things got worse for the Nittany Lions offensively. And when you don't have depth, it becomes musical chairs. 3 out of the 5 offensive linemen in different spots this week. Penn State struggling in the run game. Last in the Big Ten, 120th nationally.
And that list does not even include Miles Diefenbach, who is still out trying to come back from an ACL injury. Hackenberg on the rollout being chased by Darius Kilgo and has to throw it away.
And you can see the pressure coming. You can see the idea by Penn State, move the pocket, just get out of there. Maryland's going to move their defensive line around and just send these blitzes. They don't want Hackenberg to get comfortable. In the counter to that, you can see it. Let's just move the pocket, get him out wide, throw the quick passes. The idea, find ways to give Hackenberg a chance to get the ball out of his hands, whether it's with the quick screens, whether it's move the pocket, but give him a chance.
And number 7, who you just saw, Yannick Ngakoue, is a guy that Maryland likes to get off the edge. He is to the right now, will put his hand down in the dirt as a defensive end. Caught by Andre Monroe.
And that was a coverage sack. There was nowhere to go with this ball. He had time, had a chance to step up in the pocket. You can see his eyes were downfield. Eventually the rush gets to him, but as far as the protection, not bad here. There's just nowhere to go with this ball within the time frame of Hackenberg getting the ball out of his hands. Everyone's pretty well covered.
So even with the changes in the secondary for Maryland, they look solid on that play. And Sam Ficken is on to attempt a 47-yard field goal. He's 13 for 15 on the season. This would be the longest of the year for Sam. And he has got it. We've got 2 of the best kickers in the Big Ten with us today, if not the country, and Ficken strikes first for Penn State. 8 plays, 36 yards. In 3 minutes and 48 seconds, they were aided by the pregame unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Maryland that set them up in good field position. This is Diggs. Diggs out across the 25. In the studio there for an update. Is offset alongside C.J. Brown at quarterback, trying to dump it off to Ross. Incomplete. Well, C.J. Brown leads what has been a big play offense for Maryland. 13 scoring plays of over 20 yards on the season. Not only their best passer, but their best rusher. And over the course of his career, 50 touchdowns. He's 3 away from the school record coming in today. Pass also incomplete. Jordan Lucas on the coverage. The story for Maryland, Brown has been their best rusher because they have not gotten the production they've been looking for out of their running backs. They are 11th in the Big Ten in rushing, so Brown has had to throw it a lot. And why not when your best playmakers are your 2 wideouts, Stephon Diggs and Deion Long? Maryland's success often relies on how many touches they can get. 3rd and 10 and some movement.
Offside. Defense, number 18, unabated to the backfield. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's a big penalty on 3rd down. You have a 3rd and long situation. You're a blitzing defense. You're a zone blitz package. That's what you do well on 3rd down. You give away the 5 yards. It changes what you can do now because now they only need 5 yards, where they like to throw a lot of screen passes out wide. Easier to get 5 yards than 10.
Diggs is slotted to the left. Linebackers coming on the blitz. They throw it the other way to Long. And off the stiff arm, he'll be run out of bounds around the 35. And another Penn State penalty here on the late hit will give the Terps the 1st down. And a 2nd flag also flies after the play. And it is the true freshman getting the start today, Marcus Allen.
you get an emotional game like this one, as it starts off with pushing in the beginning, it starts off with penalties in the beginning, and sometimes you have to table those emotions once the game begins, or you will do dumb penalties on the sideline. This was out of bounds, just not smart to make that play, but that's the emotion of the game, especially when you start off with pushing and penalties and fights.
They might get the initial penalty as well as the unsportsmanlike here.
After the play, there's multiple fouls against the defense. Personal foul, defense, number 9, 15-yard penalty. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 2, 15-yard penalty, also first down.
So that is a couple of guys from the secondary, number 9 and number 2. Allen had him wrapped up. Lucas came in and made the late hit. And then I think they're going to get Allen for jawing after that play. First and 10, and now already inside the 40-yard line of Penn State. Lucas shading in from the corner spot to run right up the middle for a short gainer. Well, if Maryland wanted to make this a rivalry, it's now starting to feel like one, Joey, for all parties involved, and certainly down on the field. How do you respond to all that jawing back and forth? As they run a quick one here, Brown will keep nothing doing.
Well, the response so far has been a penalty. You've seen it on the sideline. That's just not smart. And a lot of times when you start games like this, you know, it is the team that can be emotional and understand the emotion and play smart, play within the rules of the game. And a lot of times you get young kids, young guys, which Marcus Allen, the safety, is a young guy, gets out there, gets emotional, and makes a play on the sideline that they just don't need.
Diggs is number 1 to the top of your screen. Brown, the pass is away, it's caught as Allen was bearing down on the quarterback. That'll be well shy of the first down to Paul Carcaterra.
Well, Beth and Joey, you mentioned controlling your emotions, and I don't think either team right now can. In pregame warm-ups, they were jawing. When they ran off onto the field, they tried to occupy the same space at the same time. Teams have been jawing left and right, and on the sidelines too. You could tell both squads big time amped up.
Nathan Renfro punted away. Jesse Delavallee is deep. He'll let that go over his head, and it goes into the end zone. 8:43 to go. 2-decade hiatus. They tied just the one time back in 1989. And now renewing this series as Maryland joins the Big Ten Conference with the backdrop of James Franklin, once the coach in waiting at Maryland, the job that Randy Edsall ended up getting, and now Franklin trying to guide Penn State back to prominence. Let's get an update from the studio.
Stop at number 21, Sean Davis.
Okay.
8 of 4,
Okay.
2nd and 6. Handoff to Lynch.
Thanks, guys. Shaquille Lynch with the carry there for Penn State on their second possession. Sam Ficken, a 47-yard field goal the first time they had it. And now it's 3rd and 3.
This is a good area for Penn State to be in 3rd 3. You can still run the ball in this situation, but it sets up the short pass to get the ball out of Hackenberg's hands. We talked about the sacks. These short 3rd downs, these are manageable. These are the ones they can accomplish very easy because they want to throw the quick passes.
They do a direct snap here to Shaquille Lynch. He will try and burrow his way out to the 30.
Shaquille Lynch on the carry.
And the spot appears to have him coming up short. So they tried to wildcat it to the running back there.
I'd be absolutely amazed if they actually go for this on the 30-yard line.
And Maryland had to call a timeout because they were scrambling to get defenders out onto the field.
Good move by Penn State. Good move making them burn a timeout. And I'd still be amazed if in this situation they decide to keep their offense out there and go for it.
3-0 Penn State with the lead, lining up as if they're going to go for it on 4th and 1 here from their own 29-yard line, and they will go for it. Hackenberg trying to lunge out across the 30. And they've got it.
Wow.
Nose just across the 30.
First off, I'm surprised they went for it. Secondly, I'm surprised they didn't even measure that.
Yeah.
I mean, if he did get it, it's not like he really went across the 30. I think that was worth a measurement, but wow, gutsy call by Penn State to go for that on their own 30.
So 1st and 10, under 7 minutes to go in a quarter. And a handoff to Lynch. So we've seen so much emotion today, Joey, and now a bit of a statement here by Penn State to go for it there on 4th.
Yeah, and I think your team coming in and you want to establish your run game. You talked about all week long, you struggled to run the ball. We all know that. So then you get in this situation on a 4th and 1 on your own 30, and you say, look, we believe in our offense, we believe in our toughness, we believe in our ability to pick up a couple inches and get a first down, so we're going to stay on the field. And to their credit, they did.
On 2nd and 6, they'll run Lynch again around the edge. He'll pick up a couple. That'll bring up 3rd down. L.A. Goree, one of their inside backers, with the tackle for Maryland.
And again, sets up the 3rd and short. And those are manageable. And they've just proven that if they get close to this, they're willing to go for it on 4th down. So now it even puts them in, a 2-down situation to pick up 3 yards.
Hackenberg will work out of the gun. It's Lynch offset. And it's a completion for the first down. Breaking tackles out across midfield is Jesse James, the 6'7", 270-pound tight end. Jalen Brooks, the linebacker, had to bring him down after a 20-yard run.
I like the play calling early by Coach Donovan, the offensive coordinator. We've seen a lot of short passes. We've seen some runs on 1st and 2nd down, getting their team in these 3rd and short situations where you can leak a Jesse James out to the flat, a nice easy throw for Hackenberg, something quick to pick up a first down.
Good yards after the catch there from James. Belton now into the game at tailback. Play action with Bill. Hackenberg looking deep. And it gets hung up in the wind, and it's picked off inside the 10-yard line by Will Likely.
Intercepted by Maryland. Intercepted by Likely. Return.
Christian Hackenberg's 10th interception of the season, and the turnover goes to the Terps.
And these are the interceptions that hurt Hackenberg and hurt the offense. They're the ones that where the throw is just offline. You look at this play, and that's Will Likely, the best corner for Maryland, especially in a man-to-man situation. And this is as easy of a play as he'll have to make. Just a lollipop throw, a miscommunication either between the receiver or Hackenberg. You can see Hackenberg a little upset, but those are the ones that have hurt this offense. Here, they're now near the end zone, and they throw an interception.
Go back over to C.J. Brown and company. Brown will keep. Caught and then breaking the tackle. First down yardage for C.J. Brown. Run out around the 37-yard line. It was C.J. Olanian who had him in the backfield and couldn't hang on.
And that's what C.J. Brown brings to this Maryland offense. You talked about he leads this team in rushing. He's elusive, he's quick, he has an understanding. Let me get out in the open space, and once he does that, he's pretty good.
23-yard pickup for C.J. They'll try and work the play action. Caught from behind, ball popped out, and Brown was able to get it back. Deion Barnes tracked him down.
Nice pursuit by Barnes, doesn't give up, continues to come, continues to get after Brown, and Brown just held the ball too long in this situation. You've got to make a decision, get out of your hands, and take off.
And this is one of the challenges now, joining the Big Ten Conference as Barnes hauls down Brown. They had a miserable outing against Wisconsin. The coaches watched the game tape, but not the players. They didn't even bother showing them. And now you're up against an even tougher defense statistically this week, facing Penn State, one of the best in the nation. incomplete. That pass from Brown intended for Dion Long. It's a Nittany Lion defense that is 9th in the country in scoring D, 3rd best in the nation against the run. And what defensive coordinator Bob Shoup calls a relentless pursuit of never-ending pressure.
And they're very good in these situations because they bring the zone blitzes. They'll play some 3 deep zone, and they'll blitz the quarterback. A lot of times it's difficult to read the defense on the run, and you run out of time because they're good at getting after the quarterback.
Diggs going deep down the middle, and the pass incomplete. It was intended for the guy right underneath him, Etatawa. And it's 4th and 16.
Actually, really nice throw by Brown. I mean, he found an area in that zone and delivers a strike. This ball just has to be caught.
Etatawa getting more playing time because of Marcus Leak having a case of the dropsies. And right off the hands. So it's Della Valle again back deep to receive the punt. He will wave his teammates away from it. Takes a couple of Maryland bounces. And it'll be down to around the 26-yard line. 42 yards on that punt from Nathan Renfro.
Virginia and Clint Trickett is outstanding, you know, passing and putting points on the board also.
TCU, the road trip today, College Game Day was there in Morgantown. They host Kansas State next Saturday. And of course, the Mountaineers a couple of weeks ago had that big win against Baylor. They've won 4 straight going into that showdown. Penalty against the Nittany Lions. Already 5 penalties costing them 45 yards today. Hackenberg will give to Belton. Nowhere to run. Again, this offensive line without Donovan Smith today, that means all 5 guys, none of them were starters a year ago. And Wendy Laurent is making his debut here today as the center. Mangiero moved from center out to the right side, and Andrew Nelson moved from the right side to the left side.
And when you talk about replacing the center, he's the guy that makes all your protection calls. He's the guy who has to communicate to the guards and to the tackles and let the backs and the quarterback know which way the protection's going. So it's tougher when you replace a center than any other position.
Hackenberg, again, good coverage downfield, and it's Keith Bowers who was able to wrap him up. 2nd sack today for Maryland.
And you can't fault the offensive line in some of these situations. Look like pretty good protection. He has time, has to understand you have to do one of 2 things. Either take off running, get out of the pocket, and get rid of this football. You can't stand there. You understand it. He knows that this is a young offensive line in front of him. But in that situation, find a way to get it out, and if you can't, throw it away.
On 3rd and 17, Maryland will get its speed group out there to try and put some pressure on Hackenberg. They'll go with just the 3 down linemen again, and that's Cujo Virgil, number 51, to the near side, trying to bring some heat. Belton is able to pick him up, but Hackenberg has to throw it into the turf. Good pressure from Maryland on the quarterback, Christian Hackenberg.
And I think that was a screenplay. I think that was a screenplay to Belton, and he just got hit. Cujo Virgil, the linebacker, hit Belton so hard that Belton couldn't get back on track and just gave Hackenberg nowhere to go with the ball.
It has been an adventure in the punting game for Penn State. It is Daniel Pasquarello that gets the start and will try and boot it away. That was a major problem in the Ohio State game, and that takes an unfortunate bounce for the Penn State faithful. And that will set up good field position after a 23-yard punt from Pasquarello.
The Penn State 43-yard line, 24-yard punt, no return.
So 1st and 10 Maryland with 2:15 to go here in the first quarter.
And I would expect Maryland to try to get back to some of the receiver screens. That's what they do so well, is get the ball out wide, get it out there quickly. Started off the game trying to throw a couple. They were incomplete, didn't work out. I expect to see now they have a chance to get back into scoring position pretty quickly here. Look for Diggs to get the ball out wide.
Diggs is to the bottom of your screen. They'll run it with the fullback, Kenneth Goins, up the middle. We've seen images today of how emotional Stefon Diggs is and what a big playmaker he has been over the course of his career. And for Stefon pregame, there he is. Keep an eye on him. He is very fortunate to be in this game right now. Watch the hand to the face of the official. He was whistled for unsportsmanlike conduct. That is at the official's discretion. They could have kicked him out of the game.
I think it's the right call not to make that move. The official understands he's in the middle. There's a lot of people, a lot of fights. A lot of times you have no idea who's grabbing you and who's pushing you.
Juwan Winfrey with the catch, lost his footing. A pickup of 6. Will be about a yard short of the marker.
Nice job by Brown, recognizing the blitz coming off the top. That's Jordan Lucas, the corner, coming into Brown's face. And a lot of times if you have a blitz coming at you, you want to go to the side where the blitz came from. Does a nice job delivering a strike, and it sets up a 3rd and short. This is a place, if I'm Maryland, I try to make the same statement that Penn State made. I try to run this ball, and if I don't get it, I go for it again.
Power backfield with a couple of fullbacks, Goins and Searski. It's Wes Brown up the middle, and it's going to be close. Looked like the second effort may have shoved him forward an extra half a yard. And the spot looks like it's good enough. They still haven't made the determination to the guys with the sticks, and now they are telling them to go ahead and move it up.
I was going to say, after not measuring the 4th and inches, I'd be amazed if they measured that one. That one looked like he definitely got it.
1st and 10, Terps. So Maryland burns its second timeout with 24 seconds to go in the first. And Maryland on the move, trying to take advantage of a short punt that set them up in Penn State territory to start this drive. And first down, the receiver screen to Marcus Leak. Nice cut. Leaves a defender behind him and gets inside the 25-yard line. Diggs with a nice block to lead the charge.
A nice job by Leak to set up the block. Catches this ball, goes outside, and it's like Diggs didn't realize he was still there. Leak cuts back inside and sets him up pretty nicely.
He left the true freshman Christian Campbell in his wake, and that will take care of business in the first quarter of play. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football, presented by 5 Hour Energy. As we start the second quarter, Penn State, the 3-0 lead. Maryland trying to threaten, 2nd and short. From inside the 25, Brown will keep, and the quarterback's got it. Getting down to the 17-yard line. 7-yard pickup. So 1 turnover, the Hackenberg interception. We've seen a ton of emotion and some penalties on either side, Joey. Penn State's had the ball a lot longer.
Yeah, and Penn State has 5 penalties in this game. You talked about the emotion. They have to control their emotion. Maryland came out, and their idea was to be emotional in this game. They want to create a rivalry, and it has worked out because Penn State has been the team to commit the penalties.
Overthrown, intended for Diggs, and a flag on the hit from Marcus Allen, who has already been flagged once today for unsportsmanlike conduct. And the true freshman who played pretty well last week against Ohio State. A tough start to this one as far as the officials are concerned.
And that's already 60 yards in penalties. And you just mentioned 30 of them are by Allen, the safety. Again, too much emotion here. This is a play you got to understand nowadays. They don't allow you to do that. When I played football, that was completely legal. We wouldn't even have complained about that hit. But nowadays, they try to take away those hits, and that's definitely a play that they will call.
First and goal. C.J. Brown keeps down to the 2. Allen with the hit. Brown is the 6th-year senior. The ironic twist today is he was recruited by James Franklin when Franklin was the assistant coach at Maryland.
If I'm Maryland, I continue to run this ball. They've had some success. I would stay with it.
On the rollout, nice play fake and a touchdown pass to P.J. Gallo.
That's exactly why they don't listen to me, Beth. Great play call. You've had some success running the ball. Sets up the play action. Fake it in the middle. Wide open in the back of the end zone. Nice play by C.J. Brown.
Nice job by Mike Loxley, the offensive coordinator, and all the Terrapin players for just kind of putting that Wisconsin loss behind them and coming here with a whole different mentality in hostile territory. Brad Craddock has the PAT, 7-3 Maryland. Well, at times it's been that kind of season for Christian Hackenberg. You've got a 19-year-old quarterback, an inexperienced offensive line, for the most part young, inexperienced skill players. And some frustration already here this afternoon. An interception for Hackenberg, Maryland with the lead. And it's Haley on the return. Bill Belton now in at tailback. Hackenberg will work from under center. And the delay, Belton caught from around the edge by Sean Davis. Here's Paul Carcaterra.
Well, after the last Penn State offensive possession, Hackenberg came off frustrated and banged up. He has a big cut on his right lower leg that head trainer Tim Breen attended to. Offensive line, obviously a huge issue. Not one of these 5 linemen a starter a year ago. Offensive coordinator John Donovan and line coach Herb Hand doing a ton of teaching on the sideline, going over every scenario in pass protection.
Trips to the left. This is the true freshman Chris Godwin. He's got the first down out across the 30-yard line. Stepped out of bounds at the 34. Hackenberg sacked a couple of times.
Yeah, that's a coverage sack. You'd like to see him take off in this situation. Has time to get out of the pocket, so take off and run. This ball's a miscommunication. You don't know if that's Hamilton's fault, if that's Hackenberg's fault, but that has happened to this team time and time again, where you have the ball up in the air. There's no receiver in the area. You know, we talked about the offensive line. Allen Robinson's another guy, a receiver from last season that Hackenberg is missing. You know, this season he could throw the ball. Allen Robinson would go get it, and you can see the frustration is setting in when you have situations, you have miscommunication out wide with your receivers. You're getting hit, you're getting sacked, you throw intercept. He has as many interceptions this season already as he had all of last season. So he's going to be frustrated, all while he's learning a new offense. Has to be a difficult situation for Hackenberg.
Last year was head coach Bill O'Brien. This year it's James Franklin. Robinson is gone with his nearly 100 catches and 1,500 yards. And when we talked to offensive coordinator John Donovan yesterday, Joey talked about, you know, Hackenberg is one of the youngest captains, a sophomore, that they've ever had here at Penn State. And his demeanor, his body language, his attitude are things that all of his teammates read off of, and how he has to set the tone for all the guys around him. Not an easy task when you've spent some time on your back with all the sacks this year.
Yeah, and again, you're dealing with a new staff. Second year in a row you have a new coach. Second year in a row you're learning a new offense. And then you replace the entire offensive line and you can't run the ball. I don't know what else could be more stacked against Hackenberg to find success in this season than those things. That's what you need, and you can see the frustration again. And you just don't know if it's routes, you don't know if it's protection, but you can see there's a lot of frustration early in this game. Heck, we talked about the emotion, the guys trying to fight. I mean, Hackenberg looks as emotional as anyone in this game.
Talking with one of the other tight ends, Gesicki there. The punt is away. And this one will take a couple of bounces in Penn State's favor. Going to be scooped up, a flag down. And on the return, 44 yards from Pasquarello on the punt. The 6-yard return from Will Likely. And there's a block in the back right there. That was Sean Davis. The first playoff rankings announced on Tuesday. Be with us every Tuesday night on ESPN for the updated rankings from the selection committee. C.J. Brown tucks and runs with it out across the 10-yard line. Set back by the penalty. Marcus Allen with the tackle. Play action. Brown, Barnes giving chase. Incomplete, Long had it, couldn't hang on, and more flags flying back at the line of scrimmage. Brandon Bell with a nice hit. That is already now the 9th penalty combined for these two. That's Sal Conaboy, the center.
And I can't believe they called it. I mean, you talk to some of these defensive coordinators nowadays, and because of all of the read zone offensive systems, that's a penalty that officials never call.
Yeah.
I agree with the call. I think it should be called. They just don't call it anymore, and they're allowing these offensive linemen to go downfield and making it more difficult for defenses to read run versus pass.
Back to the 7-yard line. So now do you start counting Sal Conaboy's steps upfield? Sal's fighting for his right to get upfield a couple of yards at least. Are they looking at whether or not there was a catch and a fumble? It was Long that had it, Bell that knocked it loose. Did he have control of it? And then did the ground knock it out?
From that angle, it looks like he didn't catch the ball.
Yeah.
It just looks incomplete.
Bell would argue that it should have been a catch and a fumble. Ruling on the field, not only the ineligible receiver penalty, but the ruling on the field initially was incomplete pass. So they would need the video proof to overturn that. And then you start talking about, well, okay, if you're going to call that a catch, then what do we do with the penalty? Which was against Maryland as well. Because if it's an incomplete pass, would Penn State consider whether or not they would want it? The penalty. So it's an incomplete pass, and Penn State will not take the penalty. So instead of 3rd and over 10 yards, it'll be 3rd and 8. rushes for. The pass is caught underneath, short of the first down by Edatawa. Naeem Workman, the linebacker, had the coverage. Fourth down coming up. Della Valle is back deep once again, standing around his own 40-yard line. Penn State will set up for a return. Della Valle chased back to his own 36, and he'll get out to about the 43-yard line.
I thought Michigan State would be ranked a little higher in this situation, and neither of those teams were. And moving forward, we'll see how it plays out. Big game in the SEC West, this week. But I still think Florida State should be the #1 ranked team in the country. So I think Mississippi State should be moved down. I like Auburn.
Your green arrows are people should be higher,
exactly.
red should be lower.
And I think Florida State and Mississippi State should just be switched. I think that they should be 1 and 2. I like Auburn in that situation. And I really thought Notre Dame and I thought Michigan State in this situation would be a little higher than they were.
Could be some movement this afternoon for TCU. And he has come out and he's been replaced by Jeremiah Johnson. And Johnson makes the tackle. So a guy that was questionable during the week, we were told he wouldn't be playing today. And he comes on to replace Sean Davis at the cornerback spot. And now we'll head back over to the sideline and Davis goes out there.
I can't call it. I really have no idea what just happened. It wasn't like they were in a hurry-up situation, so they had time. I'm not sure what that was.
Penn State 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Hackenberg stepping up, looking deep. Looking for Blacknall, incomplete inside the 5. Will Likely with the coverage. Penn State sideline fuming. They thought there was contact.
Yeah, Likely's 5'7", so if you're going to go deep, you would think on paper you would try Likely, but he's their best cover guy, and you can see pretty good coverage on Blacknall downfield. He's fighting for the ball all the way. I like the no call. The fans, of course, would like that to be an interference. I like the no call in that situation. I think that's just two guys going for the football.
Both guys have a right to the ball, and always important when that DB turns around and looks for it, a good indication as far as the official's concerned. Hackenberg, after hitting on 6 of his first 7 pass attempts, is just 1 for his last 7 with an interception. The pump fake on the receiver screen, and he's sacked again. It's another takedown for Andre Monroe.
Monroe up top, and I would say this is the first breakdown of the offensive line. I think they've been pretty good. This time Andrew Nelson, the tackle, gets beat. They lose 9 yards, but we talked about the inexperienced offensive line. Paul Carcaterra told us they're doing a lot of coaching on the sideline, and they've done pretty good with their protection. That's the first breakdown, first time they've really just been beat to get to Hackenberg.
And that's Andrew Nelson out there on the left side. Now Derek Dowry is also lining up on the offensive line, and an interception plucked out of the air by Cujo Virgil. Touchdown Maryland, but a flag is down. A roughing the passer penalty called on Ngakoue.
And again,
what do you think of that one, Jimmy?
Well, that's what they're calling nowadays. And it's just like the call on the sideline that went against Penn State earlier. I said, look, back in my day, that was legal. They let those plays happen. In today's game, the play on the sideline, they hit on Diggs, they call now, and this hit on Hackenberg, even though it's bang-bang in both situations. Those are the plays that they call, and it's a huge call for Penn State.
Instead of the pick 6, it's Penn State football now on the Maryland 40-yard line. It had gone 42 yards the other way for the touchdown, and here is the carry from Shaquille Lynch. Keith Bowers with the tackle. Well, we've seen a little bit of everything today. Going for it on 4th down, deep in your own territory from Penn State. The pick six taken away, and Ngakwe again in the backfield to haul down Lynch. Another tackle for loss. That's become his specialty.
Yeah, he is an athletic end, and anytime he gets it's him in a man-to-man situation, you've got to help on him. We've had him a couple times now, and he is outstanding out there, and he gets in space, and he can get around these tackles and make these kind of plays. And again, it sets up this 3rd and long, and that's his specialty. He has a chance to rush the quarterback.
On 3rd down, play action, Hackenberg, incomplete, and a flag. That's Anthony Dixon, the safety, covering Kyle Carter, the tight end. Randy Edsall not at all pleased that Penn State has been aided by a couple of penalties here against the Terps. 1st and 10, Penn State from the 22. Belton with a nice burst, gets it to the 15-yard line. L.A. Goree with the tackle.
And that's a big play. And you look at it, it's only a 7-8 yard gain, but it is a run on 1st down to set up 2nd and 3. And that is huge for this offense. That way, again, they have a chance to throw the quick route. They have a chance to get out of Hackenberg's hands and be safe with this football, even run it again. But that 1st down rush is important for this team and for this offense.
Looks like Belton now is behind to take a direct snap. Christian Hackenberg, the quarterback, goes wide left to the top of your screen. Belton will keep. And just a couple of yards on the pickup. It's worth pointing out at this point that for both teams, their rushing yardage is less than the yardage they've been aided by from the penalties called today. And entering today this season for Penn State, last in the Big Ten in all of those categories. They have struggled to find their way on the ground. And now, again, it's going to be a direct snap situation. This is Shaquille Lynch. Hackenberg lined up wide right. And Lynch able to pick up a few yards.
Yeah, nice run by Lynch. Nice 2nd effort by Lynch. You talk about the run game for both teams not being great, but it's way more important for Penn State and their offense that they get their running game going. Maryland is dynamic outside. They have good receivers out wide. They have a veteran quarterback that's been around and been with his receivers for a while. For Penn State, you have a young quarterback. You have a young offensive line. You need to run the ball to take the pressure off of your quarterback as he gets used to his new receivers and his new offensive line.
Hackenberg again, wide out to the top of your screen. Lynch off of the ball fake, gets inside the 10, runs into Anthony Nixon. Well, you got to be careful sometimes, Joey, when you send your quarterback out as a wide receiver. That gives the DBs a chance to give him a few extra licks.
And if I was a defensive coordinator, I would teach my guys to do that. You send your quarterback out wide and you put him out here in space. I would teach my defensive backs and my linebackers to go hit the quarterback because now he's legal.
Hackenberg now under center, the 11th play of this drive. It's been aided by a couple of penalties on Maryland. Hackenberg short drop, the jump ball, incomplete. Likely had the coverage on Dashawn Hamilton. That's the 2 top guys going head to head.
And Likely's not the guy I would try in this situation. Again, he's 5'7". I know it looks like on paper he's the guy you want to try, but he's their best cover guy. Jeremiah Johnson, the other corner, is out of the game. Sean Davis, the safety, now playing corner. I would go with Sean Davis. I would find out if this safety can come out and play corner and cover my wide receivers.
Likely has an interception today. Davis, this is his first time playing corner. He had a few reps during practice earlier in the week, expecting Johnson to be out. 3rd and 7. Hackenberg looking left, throwing that way, incomplete.
And again, Davis was at the bottom of the screen, matched up with Geno Lewis in a man-to-man situation. That's the guy I would try. I would just find out what kind of corner he is. He's played some corner in the past, but this season he's been a safety up until now. I would try him out.
That was John Donovan who was talking with Hackenberg. Penn State's offensive coordinator is down on the field. Their defensive coordinator is upstairs, and now Sam Ficken will try for his 2nd field goal of the day. He hit from 47 yards earlier. This one's a 26-yard attempt. And it's good. He's now 15 of 17 on the season, and it's a 1-point game. A moment ago, Christian Hackenberg and his offensive coordinator, John Donovan, some frustration here in the first half. Just a couple of field goals for Penn State.
Yeah, we talked about the frustration, and a lot of this frustration comes from a season long of getting sacked, a season long of not being able to run the football, not being comfortable in the pocket, some of the interceptions. You have these kind of heated discussions in football in these situations, but you'd like to see your young quarterback settle down and try to get his head back in the game.
Ficken kicks it away to Diggs from the 8. Looking for a lane, gets out across the 25-yard line. 1st and 10 there for the Terps. Ross and Goins in the backfield alongside C.J. Brown. Brown with a touchdown pass to get Maryland the lead. And finds Ross out of the backfield. To the studio for an update. Boys, can anybody figure out that Northwestern team? They had the win coming in here over Penn State. They were for a little bit on top of the West, and now taken to task by Iowa. We've got another penalty flag down. This will be the 11th of the game for both teams. They've combined for over 100 penalty yards so far. Goins, the sophomore fullback from Baltimore. One of the reasons why the Terps have taken so much interest in this matchup and their fan base. There will be a lot of comparisons now between Maryland and Rutgers and Penn State, the Eastern Seaboard teams in the Big Ten. In particular on the recruiting trail, week in and week out, how Penn State has been dominant in that category. And Randy Edsall told us this week, we got to beat these guys eventually on the field, so that we can't just tell our recruits that we can compete. We can show them that we can play with the best. And even though Penn State may be down a little bit with all the sanctions, certainly one of the traditional powers in the conference.
You see the blitz coming to the face of C.J. Brown. Nice job by Penn State. Zettel, the defensive lineman, defensive tackle, getting his hands up, deflecting this ball. You've got to be ready for these zone blitzes. When you face this Penn State defense, they will zone blitz you till you figure out how to pick it up. And then you get in these 3rd and long situations. And there's number one, there's no play calls to cover this kind of distance. But then you're playing an outstanding defense in Penn State. It's tough to get these kind of 3rd and longs.
Brown hit as he releases. Picked up by Penn State. No signal initially from the officials. It was Deion Barnes who got a hit on him. They ruled it an incomplete pass. It was Barnes that knocked it loose.
There you can see it coming forward. The arm's definitely moving forward. A nice play by Barnes to beat the tackle and get there.
So now punting out of his own end zone. Nathan Renfro. End over end, Della Valle with the fair catch at the 45.
Our run game. They just don't have the guys right now. Once they get guys, that's what they'll be. But right now, you got to lean on your young quarterback to make plays for you. And you can see he's just frustrated with the lack of, they're just not being very successful offensively right now. And that's a big run right there on first down. Again, we talked about that. You can get 7-8 on first down with a run. Huge for this offense.
Down to Paul Carcaterra.
Well, Maryland defensive coordinator Brian Stewart does not plan on changing what the big approach has been all first half. Pressure, pressure, pressure. They're going to go after Hackenberg relentlessly.
They get Kilgo into the backfield to help cut down Bill Belton. It hasn't been pretty for that Terrapin defense in their 2 losses. Granted, it was Ohio State and Wisconsin. They allowed over 500 yards and over 50 points.
Those are the teams that Maryland's going to struggle with and Rutgers is going to struggle with. And even at Penn State, until they get whole, as Coach Franklin calls it, until they get their numbers back up. When you lack numbers, you're going to struggle versus big physical teams like Ohio State and Wisconsin.
3 of 8 today on third down for Penn State. With time, the catch is made by Hamilton inside the 30. Here's a taste of what's coming up at the half. Thank you, Adnan. Some news from around the conference, and right now Christian Hackenberg trying to get Penn State some more points before the half. Congratulations, by the way, to Dashawn Hamilton on that last catch a moment ago. He passed Dion Butler and now has over 700 receiving yards on the season. That is a new freshman record at Penn State. Last week, he set the school record with his 14 catches in the Ohio State loss. He goes wide right. Out of the pocket, he's got a man open at the 10 and couldn't get it to him. Kyle Carter had room, and Hackenberg's throw on the run was errant.
Yeah, and that's a throw that he'd like to have back. That's one that should have been complete. Does a nice job of getting out of the pocket. Does a really nice job of not staying back there. We talked about getting rid of the ball, moving around. This time gets out, and just this receiver's wide open down the sideline. Take your time, set your feet, take your time. That's a tough throw. Falling to your left, throwing right hand, and you can see it sail out of bounds. Take your time, deliver a strike. That could be a big play for your offense.
Empty set for Hackenberg on 3rd and 10. Pressure coming from Maryland. On the run again, incomplete, and a flag down. Behind the play, behind Hackenberg. And that will go against Penn State. So Penn State, despite having the short field, unable to move it.
I might have considered taking that penalty, Beth. It would have bumped them out of field goal range. Now, to give them 3rd down again, they had a chance to gain those yards back, but I think I would have taken a chance to push them out of field goal range.
He's made from 47. This one is 46. So Maryland opts not to take the yardage there and has left Ficken an opportunity here well within his range. His career long is 54.
And that penalty was behind the line of scrimmage, so you mark it from the spot of the foul. You add 10 yards to that, and it takes him out of field goal range. You're dealing with an offense that has struggled.
Yep.
We talked about Hackenberg's struggles, just throws 2 errant passes. So you'd imagine that it would be a pass by Penn State. I really think I take the penalty, put the ball back in Hackenberg's hands, make him try to beat me. You know, he's thrown some balls away. We've gotten after him. They've sacked him a number of times. I don't understand declining this penalty, giving Penn State a chance to get 3 points on the board.
He's 2 for 2 today. Kula with the nice hold. The kick is on its way, and Penn State will take what could be considered a three-point gift right there, and they have the lead 9-7 with a minute and a half to go here in the first half. As Maryland opted not to take the penalty yardage in Ficken from 46 yards out, he's got all the Penn State points here in the first half. You still would have Florida State up there with winners of 24 in a row after their win on Thursday. And that kick will go into the end zone for the touchback. So now the Terps have some time to work with. And their sixth-year senior quarterback, C.J. Brown. And you've also, Joey, got one of the best playmakers in the Big Ten in Stephon Diggs. Let's see if they can get him some touches here.
Yeah, and they still have not run as many receiver screens as I expected to see Maryland run. When you look at this offense, it is a get the ball in Diggs' hands out wide, get it to their receivers, and Diggs to this point has 0 catches. That is not a winning equation for Maryland in their offense and the way they play. So look for them to get the ball out wide as quickly as they can.
Had just the 1 catch last week, that a touchdown in the final minute in the loss to Wisconsin. Stymied thus far. They'll use Ross coming out of the backfield. Diving out across the 30, and the ball is loose. And Penn State has the turnover. Trevor Williams is the guy that got it out of there. Fighting off the block by Long. There's the nice pop by Williams. And is that Mike Hull who got the loose ball? Mike Hull with the fumble recovery.
Big turn of events, and using these situations offensively, you think, let's take a shot for the end zone. In this case, with a minute 20 left, I would run this football just to make sure I don't get back to Maryland with a lot of time on the clock.
Looking for that one-timer, Geno Lewis couldn't haul it in at the goal line. Broken up by Sean Davis.
And he was there, he was open. This ball's a little underthrown. Maybe a little late on this throw. Get rid of this ball and get it out there. Just let the cornerback, recover, let Davis recover in this situation. But Geno Lewis definitely opened for a touchdown.
Good breakup by Sean Davis. Hackenberg now 1 for his last 11. Hackenberg lost the handle, and it's recovered by Maryland. L.A. Goree has it. And it is ruled on the field as a fumble, and it's a Maryland football. Just lost the handle. On a chilly, spitting rain kind of day, Hackenberg gives it back.
You talked about being 1 for your last 11, and you have this fumble. You already have 1 interception. You think about the one that got called back, another interception return for a touchdown at halftime. If I'm Penn State, if I'm Coach Franklin, if I'm Coach Donovan, I sit down with my young quarterback and try to get his head in this game, try to get him locked back in to playing football. Things have gone downhill since the beginning of this game for Hackenberg, and he has to find a way to get it back.
That's a couple of turnovers now. The interception and the fumble. Hull on the blitz. Got to the quarterback to break it up. The leading tackler for the Nittany Lions, the 5th-year senior out of Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania.
You got to know where Hall is at all times. I mean, he's always near the football. If you're Maryland, you have to locate Hall. He's the kind of guy, whether he blitzes or stays back, you got to know where he is because he's their playmaker.
Showing blitz again, then steps back. And he's coming. So is Della Valle. The throw down the far sideline, incomplete, out of bounds over the head of Dion Long. down to Paul.
Defensive coordinator Bob Shoop absolutely loves Mike Hall. He says he diagnoses plays quicker than anyone he's ever seen. He said if there was anything that happened to me ever in a game, he could call the plays 43 in blue.
Yeah, he called it download speed, the ability to take information from your head and get it to your feet quickly to make a play. And now it's third down. Just a four-man rush. Brown incomplete. Looking for Winfrey, 4th and 10.
Nice job by the Penn State defense to get on the field and get a 3 and out after the big turnover. That was an opportunity for Maryland to, with a minute left in this half, to make some plays and turn the momentum. But the defense, huge stop. That's the strength of this team, and they showed why.
That'll force the punt. The total yards, well, offensively, it hasn't been pretty for either side thus far. Della Valle will field it at the 11 and taken down immediately. That's Sean Davis on the coverage. A 45-yard punt, 1 yard on the return. The Maryland touchdown, the pass from C.J. Brown to P.J. Gallo, and for Penn State, 3 Sam Ficken field goals, including a 46-yarder where Maryland declined penalty yardage on a third down that allowed Ficken to stay in range on a holding penalty. Hackenberg sacked at the 2. Yannick Cujo-Virgil was there, the 3rd sack of the day for the Terps. And Maryland, I think, will call its final timeout.
Yeah, and this is where the 2 timeouts that Maryland burned early in this game, this is where it'll hurt. They don't have the timeouts. You have Penn State backed up on a certain 3-yard line. You'd like to have those timeouts now to try to get the ball back.
The pressure has been constant on Christian Hackenberg again today.
Nice move by Cujo-Virgil. He just beats Mahan across his face. The swim move inside and gets clean. Those are the ones that you understand when Hackenberg gets sacked. Those are just offensive line getting beat right now across the face. Those are the ones that you can accept. It's the ones where the ball stays in the pocket for a while. The ones where you think, okay, you got to take off, you got to get rid of it. Those ones will, those will kill you. Those are the ones quarterback-wise. You come back to your offensive line and that'll frustrate you.
And that's a situation too that Penn State and James Franklin and his staff are already working on remedying since they got all their scholarships reinstated. They are bowl eligible in one of the places, if they get to 6 wins, and one of the places where they are really hitting it hard on the recruiting trail are those offensive and defensive lines. And they will just take a knee right here. And as we talked about, Maryland had to call a couple of early timeouts, so they cannot stop it. Christian Hackenberg started out 6 for 7, but just 2 of 14 since, with a couple of turnovers, an interception and a fumble. And having said that, the Nittany Lions still take the lead into the locker room, 9-7 over Maryland. This Penn State defense, which has been so good coming in, has held Maryland to just 66 total yards of offense in the first half of play.
Being upset, being emotional doesn't help you get back in the game, and hopefully at halftime they settle down their young quarterback to try to get his head back in the game.
This is Stephon Diggs. The only touches he have been on special teams. He does not have a reception yet. Down to Paul Carcaterra.
Well, Beth, I just caught up with Randy Edsel, and I asked him about that whole situation before the game, why his players did not shake hands with Penn State. He did not endorse that. He said the players' emotion took over. In the pregame, you saw all the bickering back and forth between the 2 teams. He did not like the fact that they didn't shake hands, and he certainly did not promote that fact pregame. Another thing, Joey, you were curious about not accepting the penalty at the end of the second quarter, pushing that Penn State offense back and forcing Hackenberg to drive. Ficken answered with a field goal for Penn State. He thought it would be a far field goal and win would be a factor.
Thank you, Paul. They had a chance to push Ficken out of range, and it did not work. And Sam made the field goal for the lead at the end of the first half. And on the first play here for Ross. Picks up maybe a couple. Olanian was there to greet him. This Penn State defense so stout throughout the year. They had that terrific second half last week against Ohio State that forced the overtime, and they held Maryland to just 66 yards of total offense in the first half. The scoring play was a 3-yard touchdown from C.J. Brown to his tight end P.J. Gallo. And he is the motion man. Brown on the rollout. Fires it downfield looking for Diggs, incomplete at the 30. Been thrown to just the one time on that last pass. That's his only target today. On 3rd and 10, the draw, Ross out across the 20, and he's going to come up a yard short. Mike Hull with the tackle. And the punting unit will head out there. Hull and company hold.
And that's a surprising play call from Maryland. Most of the playmakers are on the outside. Talked about the receivers, not just Diggs, but Long, and we talked about how good they are. They got a veteran quarterback. I'd expect on a 3rd and 10 for Maryland to try to find a pass play to get the first down.
Renfro from his own 12, and it's Jesse Delavalli again. Chase back inside his own 30. He'll have a chance. And he won't get far. Good coverage there. Interception as well as a fumble today. This is Shaquille Lynch trying to get to the outside and hauled down by Andre Monroe. Been real disruptive in that backfield. Been successful in what Brian Stewart laid out, the defensive coordinator. We want to see if Penn State can run. Well, they've shut that down thus far. We want to try and affect Hackenberg. They have certainly done that. And after giving up a couple of long touchdowns in the Wisconsin loss last week, they wanted to eliminate the big play, and they've been able to do that as well. Second down, Hackenberg to Hamilton. Couldn't hang on. Sean Davis was there with the coverage. Davis moving from safety to corner today.
And the problem when you get in these situations, you got a 3rd and long, you're struggling up front, you're taking sacks. You get in 3rd and long, it calls for a 5-step drop, sometimes a 7-step drop. Those are plays when your quarterback, when Hackenberg has to hold the ball in his hands to allow his receivers to get downfield, and that's your weakness, is protecting your quarterback.
Been sacked 3 times this afternoon to bring his season total up to 28 times. Lynch runs right into the blitzing safety. Check that. That was Davis coming up from the corner in a loss of 3.
Corner.
The safety slash corner.
Yeah, he's the safety that has moved the corner. Comes on a run-stopping blitz here. You can see the blitz, and you would like to see a situation where your quarterback can get you out of this play. It is going right at blitz where Davis is coming. You run straight to the hole. There's no chance for you to gain yards on this play. You'd like to be in a situation where you could just audible out of it and get to a pass play.
Pasquarello kicks it away, will likely with the fair catch. Maryland will start out at its own 36-yard line. They're down a couple. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by 5 Hour Energy. 9-7, Penn State with the lead over Maryland. Terps have the football, and we'll try and get a little bit better than what they've done. Look at that, their last 5 drives, 3 and outs and a fumble with negative yardage total. It's been a struggle for the offenses so far this afternoon. And tipped by Bell. Brandon able to get up there, the sophomore from Mays Landing, New Jersey.
And defensively, Coach Shoup has done a nice job of mixing up these defenses, sending some of the blitzes. You can see knocking the ball down would have been a tough catch to make, but being in the right place, sending some of the zone blitz, some of the man zips, it's just been a very good mix by Coach Shoup, the defensive coordinator.
They running off the left side for a yard, wrapped up by Terrell Barney, the junior from Florida.
Sets up another 3rd down, and you expect to see another exotic blitz from Penn State. You just got to figure out whether it's a man blitz or a zone blitz. They have to be read completely differently, but you have to do it on the run and figure out where these linebackers, where these safeties are coming from.
Just 1 for 7 on 3rd down. Diggs slotted left. Brown with time, underneath, and it's dropped. Editawa for the second time today.
It wasn't going to get there anyhow. That was a pass underneath. There was no blitz coming, just rushed the front four and stayed back in the zone, and everyone's covered, had to go underneath, and that's a play that they were going to make. Mike Hall standing right in the middle is going to make this tackle for no first down either way. So another 3 and out. Talked about the struggles on offense, but defensively, Penn State's been pretty good.
Boy, and this is now starting to become a similar story to the Wisconsin loss when they went about 2 hours last week in real time without a first down. Hackenberg and that offense back out there on 1st and 10. Receiver screen, Geno Lewis to the 24. That will also give us a moment to send out our best wishes as well to Ryan Kaiser, the defensive back who was injured in practice prior to the Ohio State game, has spent some time in the hospital this week. And the Penn State family extending, of course, their best wishes, and we certainly wish him well. Also, Ryan and Zach Zwinak both had their careers come to an end with injuries in the last 10 days. With Carter in motion, this is Lynch. L.A. Goree. And both teams anxious to get their running games up and going today. It hasn't happened just yet. And Bill Belton and Shaquille Lynch trying to get that ground game churned out with that young offensive line. They are averaging under a yard per carry so far today. It's 3rd and 5. Hackenberg trying to get out of trouble. Down he goes. Got the pass away at the very end. It's incomplete. Jalen Brooks and Keith Powers were draped all over him. So that's Bowers, Kilgo, and Monroe each with a sack today. Or at least getting right in the face of Hackenberg.
Yeah, and again, I'm not real sure. Some of this stuff looks such a mess that it's hard to tell what's supposed to be going on. At first, I thought James, the tight end, was running a screen because it looked like he was going to block, and then he decided not to block, and then he turned around. So it's sort of hard to tell what's going on at times. Sometimes on both sides. It's been a pretty sloppy offensive football game. And again, there goes Hackenberg on the ground with a sack.
Likely. Down at the 25. Both offenses looking for a spark. Can C.J. Brown find one? Or we come back. 9-7, Penn State with the lead. Maryland now with the football at their own 25. 9:33 to go here in the 3rd quarter. C.J. Brown to the air. Bobbled and caught by Marcus Leak. Out to the 39. Here's Paul.
Well, wide receiver coach Keenan McCardle was livid on the sideline. He pulled Dion Long, wide receiver, aside and challenged him to run the proper routes. He went over what it should look like on the dry erase board, and then he slammed it with 15-plus years experience in the NFL. These guys listen. Stephon Diggs told me that he's the best wide receiver coach he's ever had.
Well, a couple of catches today for Long. Still no catches for Diggs. And Lee couldn't hold on. And of course, you're familiar with Keenan McCardle from your days as a player. Oh, look at that! There you go. That was your 16th season, right?
Yeah, that was number 16. We were almost about the same age. Except he was coaching and I was.
He said on the paper, "Look, if you want a 17th year like I had, this is what you got to do."
Yeah, that was him yelling at me, getting me on the grease board like he did Diggs. But there's so much information, so much football that he's played that. There's so much information that you can download from him and learn from, and things you can use in game, which is what makes a coach special.
Terrific hire by Randy Edsel to bring him into the fold, and that's Diggs with a drop, and the Maryland receivers really struggling to hang on to the football today.
Yeah, and if their receivers can't hold onto the ball, they don't stand a chance. That's the strength of their offense, is their ability to get the ball outside to their playmakers and let them make plays. And right now they're dropping passes, and if this continues, Penn State will win this game because Maryland won't be able to move the ball. They don't run the ball well enough to cover up for receivers dropping passes.
Only one conversion all day on 3rd down. Brown has to throw it away. Deion Barnes was coming at him. And Barnes is the guy that is a little slow to get up. Now he's okay, and it's 4th and 10.
There's just nowhere to go quickly with this football. You get in these 3rd and long situations, and it just gets tough. When it's 3rd and long, you've got to wait for receivers to get down to make it, get downfield to get open. A lot of times you don't have that kind of time, and C.J. Brown just throws this ball away.
They did manage to pick up a 1st down on that possession, just their 8th of the day, but that's all they'll get. They booted back to Hackenberg and company.
Now you look at your young quarterback in his 2nd season to be a leader in these situations. We've seen the frustration, but can he now step up and lead this football team, because they're a young team, young offensive line, young receivers. They need a leader. Can he be that guy that can lead this team and find success through some of these issues that they're having?
Hackenberg incomplete down the middle. He has certainly shown, Joey, an ability to make big plays and get his team down the field in the 4th quarter. He did that a few times last year. He's done it again this year, including the game-time drive late against Ohio State to force overtime last Saturday night.
He's played well at times. I mean, he is 6'4", he's 230, he has a strong arm. He's a smart kid, he's talented, but right now they're struggling on offense. The numbers aren't there. The interceptions are higher than they should be. We throw more interceptions than touchdowns. It's tough to be successful. But you've got to keep your head in it. You've got to let the frustrations go. Find a way to focus on football and doing your job and leading your team.
The receiver screen caught by Hamilton. A short gain, though. Davis is there to catch.
And again, we'll watch the protection here on this 3rd down. We just showed the mistake that led to a sack. Now we're in another 3rd down, another passing situation, another play where you have to lean on your young quarterback to make a play, but can you protect him and let him do that?
Hamilton so far a couple of catches. Lewis and James with 3 each. It's 3rd and 8. Hackenberg alone in the backfield. Running away from the pressure up the middle. Hackenberg cannot get to the marker. Steps out of bounds around the 22-yard line, and it's 4th down. What are you trying to talk to at this point, Joey, if you're an offensive coordinator, if you're a head coach, or if you're a teammate of Christian Hackenberg's?
You've got to find ways to get 1st downs at this point. Your defense is playing outstanding football. At times, even if you're not going to score points, you need to run plays just to let your defense rest. There's been plenty of teams that won plenty of games because they've had a strong defense, not because they could do much on offense, but because they've had a strong defense.
Likely hauled down. Good special teams coverage.
And Penn State can be one of those teams because their defense is that strong. But what happens is when you go 3 and out, when you have a couple incomplete passes and the clock's not running, your defense ends up being on the field for a lot of plays. They're playing outstanding today, but they're only up by 2 points at this stage. And Maryland has enough playmakers to make a play and get right back into the lead of this game. So you've got to do something offensively to help your defense out.
And that's better, too, from Hackenberg. We caught him right there at the end of that play. First guy greeting the special teams players when they're coming off the field, trying to be a good teammate. You know, everybody over there, this young team, looking to him for a lot of the leadership to set the tone. Now back to Maryland, down a couple here, 7:20 to go in the 3rd. Wes Brown, their best play of the day. Marcus Allen with the tackle, and that will finally get this Maryland offense up over 100 yards of total offense.
And it gets them across the 50-yard line. And again, they have enough talented skill players to change this game right now in a hurry. They have guys that can score from a long way out. So that's why, you've got to help your defense out if you're Christian Hackenberg, if you're the Penn State offense.
Bell showed a blitz coming from the field side. And here he comes. They'll run away from it. Brown, another nice gainer. Down to the 42-yard line. Pickup of 8. Grant Haley with the tackle.
Nice cut by Wes Brown, realizing the blitz is coming to his right side, goes off to left, makes a guy miss, and gets 8 yards. That's 2 straight running plays of positive yards. We talked about the, not only how bad they've been running ball, but how bad they've been on offense with the drop passes. They now in this drive look like they have something going.
Wes Brown fumbles the football. Penn State jumping on it. C.J. Olanian recovers it after Anthony Zettel with that MMA fighter training he's been doing in the offseason, able to punch it out.
And the defense steps up once again, makes a play, gets the ball back. You would actually, I guarantee they get to the sideline, they think, boy, you could have picked this one up and got the ball in. You start to get that mentality when your offense struggles defensively. You start to think, not only do we have to get the ball back, but we need to get points on the board ourselves if we can. Last week, Zettel returned their interception for a touchdown, which got things going, got them back into the game. Now they get this turnover on the 50-yard line. Offensively, again, can you get something going to help out your defense?
First and 10 from just across the 50. And a delay of game penalty. Off of the turnover.
Yeah, that's on your coaching staff. You have a turnover, you get the ball back, and you have a delay of game penalty. I mean, that should not happen.
The challenge now for Penn State, 5 consecutive drives of 3 plays or less for the Nittany Lions. They have an opportunity to get some points on the board here. Bill Belton now is in a tailback. Hamilton and Gino Lewis to the near side. On the drop, Belton gets a couple of those yards back. That was number 66, Angelo Mangiero. May have moved a bit early there. No penalty. No Donovan Smith today. No Miles Diefenbach today. 3 guys switching positions on that offensive front. We can hear in our microphones too, the wind is starting to pick up a little bit. Hackenberg fires that one
nice
to
throw.
Dashawn Hamilton and a first down.
Yeah, nice throw by Hackenberg. Gets out of the pocket on the run, and you can see the shoulders are square, comes towards the line of scrimmage and delivers a strike here. When quarterbacks are rolling out, when they come toward the line of scrimmage, toward the receiver and follow through, the ball is always more accurate.
Lynch hauled down by Cujo Virgil. Maybe picked up a half a yard, second down.
Cujo Virgil.
You can see on this play when Hackenberg comes across, look at the shoulder square. He's facing the receiver, going toward the receiver, and throws a strike.
Hamilton crossing in front of Hackenberg, gets the first down inside the 30, 13 yards on the pass play. And they have picked up the tempo here. Fakes the receiver screen, and he's got Carter at the 15. They'll move the chains again.
And Hackenberg picking it up a little bit now, looking confident, looking pretty good. Has time to moving it around, and that's 3 straight strikes thrown by Hackenberg.
Tempo helping the Nittany Lions here. First and 10, Hackenberg rifles another one, and it's caught by Carter. Diving down to the 6. Second and 1. Alex Twine also now in at linebacker. Hackenberg, the receiver screen. Gino Lewis, well read by Will Likely, and he's thrown for a loss. It's 3rd and 3.
Heck of a play by Likely. Getting through the block, making a tackle, and almost had a chance to make a play on this ball. Now you set up another 3rd down. We just talked about Hackenberg. Now he's hit his last 6. Can he keep it going? look at something quick outside, whether it's the tight end in the flat, whether it's a quick slant, but I would look for a nice quick ball and get it out of the quarterback's hands as quickly as possible.
Will he look for his favorite target? Hamilton is slotted right. Lewis slotted left. Instead, looking to the end zone, Jesse James, touchdown Penn State. James at 6'7", went over the top of the 6'2" Sean Davis for his 11th career touchdown catch. That is a new Penn State tight ends record that has stood since Ted Kwolek was here in 1968. And he gets a foot down for the score.
You got 6'7" out wide. You got a Hackenberg that has been pretty good in the last 6-7 throws, so that's 7 in a row. He's gotten hot, and you take a chance on third down and let him make a play with his tight end. Nice throw by Hackenberg, a nice catch by James.
An 8-yard touchdown pass, the 7th of the season for Hackenberg, the 3rd catch for James.
People so excited about this quarterback is he's a talented kid when he keeps his head in it, when he doesn't turn the ball over with the dumb mistakes, the interceptions. We saw the fumble earlier. When he is focused and he's in there, he is a playmaker and a very talented quarterback.
He goes 6 for 6 on that drive. They only had 10 first downs the entire game prior to that possession, and they picked up 4 first downs on the way to the end zone. 3:18 to go in the 3rd, and the hole is a little bit deeper for Maryland. Ficken boots it away and no return. It'll be interesting to see, can you punish a team for a loss to somebody that's #1 in the country, and how far do you drop them down?
Which is exactly why I don't think, the Ole Miss-Auburn game is an elimination game.
And there is the first catch of the day for Stephon Diggs late in the 3rd quarter, a 13-yard pickup.
And I always found at playing receiver, if I didn't get involved in the game early, it became harder and harder. It's cold here, it's windy, it rained a little bit, there's 3 minutes left, and that's his first catch. I always found it harder as the game wore on to get involved in a game trying to catch a ball if I didn't get in early in the game, get a feel for things, get tackled, touch the football, run with it, just to get into the rhythm of playing football.
Did you have a conversation or two with your quarterback and your coordinator
with
as well?
The quarterback,
with
the coordinator, with the head coach, with the other receivers, with the O-line, with the water boy, the trainer, the equipment, anybody you can find in those situations.
Did he listen to you when you did that?
Not at all.
2nd and 10. Can Brown match what Hackenberg did in the last possession for Penn State? Not on this attempt. Taken down by Grant Sickles, the redshirt freshman from New Jersey.
And there's the zone blitz. They bring that zone blitz. If you don't know where to go with the ball right now, which makes it difficult because you're not sure where the defenders are deployed when it's a zone blitz, and you can just see he just gets around. I mean, that is way too athletic, and Doyle, in that situation, just can't hold up. That one's too easy. But when these zone blitzes come, C.J. Brown has got to get the ball out of his hands quickly.
Lions will rush just 4, and that's more than enough. Tyrone Smith wraps him up, 4th sack of the day.
Yeah, the defensive line for Penn State, I mean, they're just imposing their will on Maryland at this point. They're getting to C.J. Brown from all over the place. They're collapsing the pocket, nowhere to go in backup. When you rush a quarterback like that, when all 4 guys just collapse the pocket, it gives an athletic quarterback like C.J. Brown nowhere to go, and he can't take off running.
Back to Hackenberg and company with 1:38 to go in the 3rd. What candy will you take out of your kid's bag when you get home?
I don't need candy. That stuff's bad for you.
Oh.
Vegetables. We got vegetables in our bag at home.
Belton stuffed in the backfield down to Paul Carcaterra.
Beth, the body language from Christian Hackenberg and the offensive line completely different than the first half. The big guys were jumping around like crazy after that last touchdown. And Joey, wide receiver coach Josh Gaddis also told his receivers there were gaps in this defense over the middle of the field. Anxious to see what you have to say.
Hackenberg incomplete, looking for
Dangerous.
Hamilton.
Dangerous throw. And those are the throws he has to eliminate. Just throw this ball away. Don't try to throw back across your body. We've seen that earlier in the season where we've thrown interceptions. That is a no-no for every quarterback all the way down to Pee-wee. Don't throw it. And we talked about those mechanics, and here we go. That's the falling away. That's going towards the sideline. That's back across your body. That is never successful. Get rid of those plays.
Hackenberg 16 for 33, 135 yards with a touchdown, a pick, and a fumble. Trips right, Hamilton's in the slot. Pressure coming. Incomplete through the hands of Dashawn. 4th down coming up. Getting a glimpse too, Joey, at some of the growing pains going on at both of these schools, really. A Maryland team that is new to the Big Ten. You know you're a bit undermanned. You've got to get bigger. You've got to get faster. And for a Penn State team with the sanctions and fewer scholarships that will now be restored, they hope to get back to whole, if not next year, the following year, is the way that James Franklin has talked about it.
And that's what people don't realize sometimes. You know, they can only do 25 scholarships a season. And all of a sudden, you're allowed to get your scholarships back. They told us they have less than 50 scholarship guys coming into this game. So you're not going to get back to your full allotment of scholarships in one season. And that's what people thought the minute they reinstated those scholarships. People was like, you know, they thought, okay, right now, we're going to be back to normal. It's going to take a couple years still because you can only do 25 scholarships in a season, and I can guarantee you Coach Franklin is out there working. I mean, he couldn't sit down and talk to you in meetings yesterday because he was out recruiting. Believe me, he's giving it everything he has to get those good 25, but it's going to take a couple years.
The big thing is they have a chance to win the Big Ten, and they have a chance to go to a bowl again this year. And Deion Long with the catch up the middle, 22 yards and a 1st down. 2nd catch of the day for Deion, who lost a shoe. And in his case, that's as bad as a helmet popping off. He's got to hustle over to the side to reboot.
Back in my day, Beth, you only had one shoe sometimes. You just had to
play in the side,
you
right?
had to go with one shoe.
Winfrey will replace him at wideout. Pass is caught this time by Stefon Diggs, and that'll move the chains once again.
And now C.J. Brown has woke up.
Yes.
And you can see the talent there. You can see the receivers getting open, and he hits a couple. It'll be interesting going down the stretch as we get close to the 4th quarter, which one of these quarterbacks can get hot and sustain some of the plays we see in spurts in this game. And
both have been better with a faster tempo here in the 3rd quarter. Brown trying to move Maryland. Blitz coming from Brandon Bell, and the catch is made down to the 10, and now Diggs is heating up.
Boy, is that a heck of a throw. Is that a heck of a throw by Brown? You know, he has Diggs set up with Williams outside, and he puts it on the money. Nice catch.
Is this a rivalry? It's starting to feel like one as we head to the 4th. Starting the 4th quarter here in Happy Valley, 16-7 Penn State. It is Maryland 1st and goal from the 9. Stefon Diggs and Deion Long are wide right. They haven't wasted much time to get down here in striking position. It's Brown with the keeper inside the 5. Johnson caught him from behind. They've been able to go to the air much more effectively on this possession. Just 61 pass yards prior to this drive the entire game. 48 on this drive to get him down close.
And a couple nice throws by Brown. The last throw he completed, blitz coming in his face and finds Diggs on a slant, changed the way he threw it sidearm. An outstanding throw. He's a talented guy. He's a senior. He's been around for a while. So Maryland feels comfortable leaving the ball in his hands for him to make a play with the run or the pass.
Trips right, the receiver screen for Diggs. He'll look to create, diving for the goal line, and he came up short. Down inside the 1, Mike Hull with the hit, and on the full extension, Diggs may have gotten the wind knocked out of him.
option plays are tough to run when you have these short situations. The defense is all trying to get penetration. They're all in 4-point stance. Everybody's at the line of scrimmage. You want to get penetration. You run option plays. It makes your quarterback pitch it before he's ready. That's a tough play to make. I would not call option versus a team that is set up in a short down 1-yard situation. That
was Deion Barnes that got to the quarterback quickly to force the pitch. So now a 25-yard attempt for Brad Craddock. And it is good. That is the 19th in a row for Craddock. And after Florida State's Roberto Aguayo missed one on Thursday night, that is now the longest streak in the country. And they lose 6 yards on 3rd down, and they are forced to go with Craddock for a field goal. Grant Haley gets it out to the 22, and the ball is out. Ball is out at the tail end of the play. And it's Maryland football. Alex Twine recovered it. 3rd turnover of the day for Penn State. Oh, no doubt about it. Jarred out of there on the coverage.
There's nothing worse than fumbling a ball and it being within arm's reach of you and you can't reach out and get it. Luckily, I didn't fumble a lot in my career, but there was once or twice when I did, and the ball is laying there and you just can't reach, and you realize I've just given Maryland a chance on the 25-yard line.
Jermaine Carter is the man of the moment right now on that Maryland sideline. He's the guy that knocked it loose. And Hackenberg thought he was going to be heading out on the field. He's on the bike right now to try and stay warm. It's back to C.J. Brown and a chance to take the lead. Brown running out of time, and down he goes to the studio for an update.
Lawson 10 back to the 3-4, 2nd and 20.
C.J. Brown, it's caught down at the 10-yard line and ping-ponging inside the 10 is Editawa. And for the 2nd time in the last couple of minutes, it's 1st and goal.
Yeah, and the best throw today by C.J. Brown. I like the slant throw he made on the last drive. This one is just a strike over the middle, and it is tough versus this Penn State zone to find these creases. Stands in there, takes a hit from Mike Hull, the linebacker, and still delivers a strike over the middle in the crease of the defense.
They had to settle for 3 the last time they were here. Brown to Diggs, another receiver screen, reaching for the goal line, and his knee was down at the 1.
And you can see Diggs getting a little bit more involved now, getting excited, you can see now he's in a rhythm. Now he has a better feel for the game.
I think they're going to take a closer look and review that. It's when that right knee, I think, hits the deck. All he's got to do with that football is break the plane before the knee goes down. They might give it to him.
That's a close one.
I think they might give it to him.
I was trying to wait to see if you were going to make your call first.
Well, let's see if the... Actually, it looks like the belly comes down before the knee does on that angle.
I don't know that we have an angle that's going to overturn the call.
That might be where the stomach is down right there. Again, the ruling on the field was he came up short, so
and
they need to see proof.
It's on the 1
Yeah.
now. I think he's closer than the 1. Either way you cut this, they may not give him the touchdown, but I think he is definitely closer than the 1-yard line.
After an 0 for first half for Stefon Diggs, he's 5 for 48 in the 2nd half. They have to have evidence that it is a touchdown. A ruling on the field as he came up short.
Michigan 10. At the half, Colorado 20, Washington 17. At the half.
So they confirmed it. They had the evidence that said he was down. So now last time they were here, Joey, they ran the option and they lost 6 yards. This will be second down.
And we've seen this quick huddle. He's going to pop out, get to the line of scrimmage, and take off before Penn State gets a chance to get set.
Power backfield, diving into the end zone, Wes Brown. And Penn State now even with Maryland after the Terps striking a PAT here to take the lead for the Terps. Off of the turnover, Maryland with a chance to take the lead. PAT is good. CJ Brown engineering the scoring drive. It all started with Jermaine Carter on special teams making a big play. And for the Maryland Terrapins, 10 points in a minute 41, aided by the turnover, and now they have the lead 17-16. Grant Haley, who just fumbled a moment ago, is back deep again. And he will not bring this one out of the end zone. 1st and 10 from the 25 for Penn State. Tom Rinaldi will have the story for you on Sunday night. Here come the Nittany Lions now trailing L.A. Glory and Cole Farron, those middle backers with the stop on Shaquille Lynch.
And we've seen Christian Hackenberg look pretty good, you know, in the third quarter. Led the team down for a score through a touchdown pass. Can he keep that going now? Can he continue to be that quarterback and not get into a lull where, you know, you have the string of incompletions like they had in the first half?
Fourth quarter has been very good to him in his 2.5 years at the helm, or a year and a half at the helm at Penn State. Can he do it again? Hackenberg on the rollout and throws that one away.
In a nice play, in the smart play, and that's what he has to do. Some plays just won't work. Throw the ball away, that's okay. Live to fight another day, come back for third down. Don't make the throws across the body. Don't take chances with the football. This is a wise play by Christian Hackenberg. No other play to make.
And now it's third down, they need 8. They're 5 of 14 on third downs today. Slotted right here. He's on the receiver screen and it's out of his reach. Dashawn went after it until it went out of bounds just to make sure that was not a backwards pass. And it's 4th down. Here's what's going on in the Big Ten West. We share the updated standings with you because Iowa pummeled Northwestern today. So the Hawkeyes go to 3-1. They are at Minnesota for the Floyd of Rosedale game next week.
Who's doing that game?
I think we might be up in Minneapolis for that one. Likely. Can't break the tackle. He's down at the 36. 10:35 to go in the game. 17-16. Maryland with the lead. They've scored the last 2 times they've had it. As we revisit our storyline, a little bad blood pregame. No handshake from the Maryland players. And then this was a pick 6. That was brought back because of a roughing the passer penalty.
And this is the second half. This in the third quarter. Hackenberg got hot, completed a couple passes, and then the turnover, which led to the Maryland touchdown, which gives Maryland a 1-point lead after being down by 2 scores.
And then Wes Brown scored off of that turnover to give the Terps the lead. 1st and 10 for CJ Brown and company. Brown cannot get to the edge. Down to Paul.
Joe, you mentioned a wide receiver needs to get the ball to get into a rhythm. After Stephon Diggs' key catch that led to the last Maryland touchdown, he has been all over the sideline firing up his teammates. He's clearly the pulse of this offense, and teammates feed off this kid.
Last week they struggled to get him the ball. This week early in the game they struggled to get him the ball. He's their best playmaker. They've got to find ways to keep him involved, get him at least 5 to 8 touches in a game to make plays for you.
Down deep, down the middle, incomplete off the hand of Marcus Leak. Just a 4-man rush. Incomplete down the middle, intended for Editawa. Adrian Amos, the guy with the coverage, the senior from Baltimore. He's one of 3 Maryland guys in that secondary, looking to pick up a win today against the Terps. Just 1 for 12 today for Maryland on 3rd down.
Nice coverage by Amos. Then inside of the receiver, they're able to just rush forward and get pressure on Brown. As long as they can do that, the 7 guys in coverage are hard to beat, hard to pass on 3rd and long versus 7 guys in coverage.
Della Valle. And some contact, a flag down as Della Valle was interfered with by Sean Davis trying to field the punt. Final decisions will be made on December 7th, is when those last rankings will come out.
We've seen a few false starts today. Those are the things you have to clean up. I understand it's a young offensive line, but that's just concentration. That's their 3rd false start penalty. We saw the one earlier that they didn't actually call, so it should have been 4.
Yep.
You've got to clean those up, especially when you're struggling on offense. I know you're young, but those are things that can be taken care of.
Hackenberg now going to roll out of the pocket. Gets a block from James, and that springs him out across the 45 and a 1st down.
And there's the leadership. That is where an offensive football team will believe in you. When you make these kind of plays, you throw your body in there at the end of this play. You understand, you get out wide, don't take chances with the ball, tuck it, run, and get a big 1st down. That's leadership.
Ball is jarred loose. I believe Lynch knocked it out of his hand, or Hackenberg just lost it again for the 2nd time. Trying to bring the ball back.
It's chilly here today. It is. Yeah, I think he just lost it just like the earlier fumble. And maybe that it's the weather. You know, it's chilly, it's windy, rained a little bit, and maybe the ball's a little slippery.
Really the first wintry day of the year. Lynch trying to pick up the block, and he doesn't. Ngakwe got there around the edge. Lynch is the guy that got run over by Joey Bosa at the end of the game in double overtime the other night.
We talked about Ngakwe at the top of the screen. Talked to me earlier how athletic he is, and you can see it. Just comes around the edge too fast, too quick, too powerful. They can't slow him down and get in for the sack. Now you set up on a 3rd and 20, and again, like everyone says, there's just no place for this. So you look for your screens, you look for your draw plays. You don't want to turn the ball over in this situation. Already down 1 with C.J. Brown in the Maryland offense, trying to get into a little bit of rhythm, put some points on the board.
Ngakwe's coming again. The pass is away for Geno Lewis, and he's got it. 1st down, Nittany Lions.
And that's going at Davis. And we talked early in the game, you know, if you want to try one of these corners, likely is not the guy to go after. Try Davis. He played safety. He's moved the corner now. And he gets beat on this 3rd and long, and you would expect your corner to not get beat on a deep ball on a 3rd and 23, but Davis did.
Broken up by Davis on that pass play. 2nd and 10.
You wonder if that's the game plan. Davis was also in coverage on the touchdown play versus James. You know, you go at Davis. Find out if he can play corner.
Almost intercepted that. It looked like it hit the ground between his hands. Darius Kilgo But good penetration again by that front line.
And if I'm Penn State, I play it safe here. I have a chance to get a field goal on the board and get back in the lead. My defense has played pretty good, even though Maryland has found a way with the short field to get a touchdown. I play this safe. I do not want to turn this ball over in this situation. I want to give my field goal kicker a chance to give me the lead.
It'll be about 47 yards from here. Ficken has made one of those already today. Hackenberg's going to roll out with it. Incomplete. Looking for Saeed Blacknall. And that was Zach Dansell with the coverage. So now do you go to Ficken again and see if he can go 4 for 4. He hit 4 of them in the season opener against Central Florida, including the game winner as time expired. And now he'll try for a 4th today. He's hit from 25, 46, and 47. And this one's a yard more, 48, for the senior from Indiana. Ficken for the lead. And it's good! His 4th make of the day, and he's got Penn State on top. And all of the pressure situations that they put Sam through every day in practice paying off in 4th quarters this year.
With all the struggles you have on offense, what a luxury to have Sam Ficken as your field goal kicker. You know you get within 50 yards, he could drill one.
Usually when you come to town, you talk to the coach, the offensive and the defensive coordinators. At Penn State, you get a chance to talk with the special teams coach as well, Charles Huff, raving about Sam Ficken. They put loudspeakers right next to him in practice. They pour water all over the football in practice. They try and make him as uncomfortable and put him in as many game-like situations as they can.
It's just good to see a kicker at practice. You know, that's why players get so upset when kickers miss field goals, because when the players are out there practicing, generally the kicker is in the lunchroom.
Ficken's front and center today. Now it's Diggs' turn. The top kick returner in the Big Ten Conference has run out of bounds around the 28-yard line.
And his throwing motion, his feet, he's as good as anyone I've studied in college football.
C.J. Brown, the completion out across the 35. That's Diggs. They've rotated a lot of different guys in at wide receiver, including Marcus Leak, who was injured on that pass play. And during the timeout, the right shoulder, he's holding that as he walked back to the locker room. Editawa may be in for more reps here. Brown, nice cutback. Out across the 45 and a first down.
Yeah, really nice cutback by Brown here. Showed patience, went play side, didn't see what he liked, got back to his right-hand side. A lot of penetration by the Penn State defensive line. And when you had that kind of penetration as a running back, you had to find the gaps on the backside behind the defensive end who's already penetrated to the right-hand side.
5:45 to go. Remember, Maryland has the hottest kicker in the country right now. And the young Australian Brad Craddock, if they can work into range, and that won't help. Brandon Bell throws Ross for a big loss.
And you figured there'd be a blitz coming from Penn State soon. Maryland starts to move the ball, starting to get a little comfortable, send the blitz, throw them off rhythm. Now it sets up a 2nd and 20. Now let's see how hot C.J. Brown is, what kind of playmaker Diggs is. Let's see if they can accomplish the 2nd and 20 the same way that Penn State made plays to go down and get a field goal.
Brown gonna go to the 45. Bell on the scene with Jordan Lucas. And it will be 3rd down and 12.
Nice play by Brown because there's no one open, and he makes it a manageable 3rd down. Now it's not your ideal 3rd down, but at least now you have plays that can gain you 10 yards. Sometimes you go underneath and let your playmakers make a play, but this is much more manageable than the 20 yards that they had to play before.
1 for 12 today on 3rd down. Blitz coming up the middle. And they get to Brown. It's Marcus Allen, the freshman. Sixth sack of the day.
Beth, if you look at this play, they send the blitz. If you freeze it right here, here's Diggs. Here's your playmaker. You have to know where to go with this ball. Find your playmakers, get it out of your hands. That's the cross dog blitz. They bring the linebackers. The soft spot will be in the middle. You have to find it. Sometimes you got to back up, but find your playmaker in the middle.
They'll punt it away and try and rely on their defense now to get a stop. Della Valley chased back inside the 15. And Penn State will have a chance to try and run it out. Thanks, Adnan. Big for Duke. That stayed just a 1-loss team.
Yeah, and that's my pick for the Coastal in the ACC is Duke. They find ways to win.
Shaquille Lynch with the carry. Maryland has all 3 of their timeouts left. The clock winding down towards 3 minutes to go.
And I think you wait to see if Penn State gets a 1st down before you start to use these timeouts. And this is where you'd love to have a running game. This is where, if you're Penn State, you're in that 4-minute offense, you'd love to be able to just run this ball and get a couple 1st downs.
Maryland stacking the box. It's Lynch. He's hit and taken to ground. And boy, we revisit that play at the end of the 1st half, Joey. Paul Carcaterra reporting to us that Maryland declined the penalty that would have pushed Ficken out of field goal range because he thought that the way things were lined up, Ficken would be out of range. Ficken made the field goal, and that's the difference right now on the scoreboard. 3 points. And they're up 2.
And I'm not real sure why they thought Ficken would be out of range. I mean, a lot of field goal kickers, maybe. I would not take my chance thinking that he couldn't nail a 46-yard field goal, and he's proven today that he can do it. He's done it a couple times.
And in fact, he's even done better. He hit a 47 and a 48-yarder as well. But right now, Randy Edsel and company focused on a stop, and then they'll try and turn it over to their 6th-year senior quarterback, C.J. Brown.
Last couple times, Hackenberg has rolled out in these situations to get himself outside of the pocket, you know, because the rush is going to come, and they've gone away. In Gakwe, the rush linebacker for Maryland's done a nice job putting pressure. They've gone away, rolling away from him to get outside the pocket.
Carter in motion. And on 3rd down, it's Lynch running up the middle. Lunging out to the 20, that's going to be short. Andre Monroe with the stop. And a timeout called by Maryland. So they are down to 1, 2:27 to go, and a 4th and 3. You would imagine a punt coming here from Penn State, and we will remind you of the kicker on the Maryland side, Brad Craddock. He has the 2nd longest field goal in the country this year, a 57-yarder against Ohio State. He has made 1 field goal today, 19 in a row. That's a Maryland record, and that is the hottest leg in FBS right now.
And that's a luxury for Coach Loxley, the offensive coordinator for Maryland, realizing, you know, you don't have to get down to the 10-yard line. You don't have to get that close when you have that kind of field goal kicker that can nail them from outside. It will affect your play calling. You don't have to take as many chances.
And what a moment right here for Danielle Pasquarello and the special teams unit. They have struggled in the kicking game, And now the true freshman from Australia, if he ever needed a big one, this is the moment. Will Likely has 2 career punt return touchdowns. Likely with a couple of cuts, and he sets up C.J. Brown in the offense at the Penn State 42-yard line. They only need a couple of yards to get within Craddock's range.
Yeah, huge defensive stop. And you think 3rd and 6 for Penn State in that situation. Yeah, you want to give your leader, you want to give Christian Hackenberg, your most talented guy on offense, a chance to make a play. You play it safe, you hand it off, struggle to run the ball, but you still hand it off and give Maryland the ball back already inside the 45-yard line without an outstanding kicker. You know, that is a tough call to make.
A little bit of a breeze down there that they are working into. Bell blitzing up the middle. Brown dropping it off to Wes Brown. On the move, diving to the 30 and a first down. Down to Paul.
Well, Beth, before the game, I spoke to Andre Powell, who's the special teams coordinator for Maryland. He said it is up to Craddock in terms of what his range is. He said, Coach, he's hit from 57. He said he's so confident in this kid. If he says I can do it from 60, they roll him out.
That's a great play call. Great play call. You know Penn State is going to blitz. We talked about C.J. Brown having to know where to go with the ball. Leak the running back out. It kills the blitz every time. Huge first down.
Brown with the cutback. They would certainly be within Craddock range right now, but they're thinking touchdown still with 1:40 and rolling. Penn State, when do they consider using a timeout?
When you have the lead, it makes you hold on to your timeouts a little while longer, because you're thinking, okay, we don't want to just start stopping the clock, because at some point in time, if they do score, we have to go down and score here. After this play, I'd expect Penn State to then call a timeout.
This defensive unit has carried Penn State in big situations. And Wes Brown with the counter to the 25. Maryland has been talking about this all week long. They've had it circled on the calendar all year long, waiting to come play a border game against what they hope will become a big rival. They already are on the recruiting trail. And now Maryland and Randy Edsall have talked all week about we need a statement win against one of the name programs in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and if you're Maryland in this situation, you know that Hackenberg can take his team down and score. He's proven that this season, so you have to make a decision yourself now on 3rd down. You try to get this first down.
That's what happened pregame. Maryland said no thank you to the handshake. We had both sides picking up some unsportsmanlike penalties in that first quarter. And now we're down to the final minute. Penn State up 2, 3rd and 6 coming for the Maryland Terrapins.
And if you stop them on this 3rd down, they kick a field goal, let's say they hit it, they go up by 1 point. Christian Hackenberg gets the ball back with probably 50 seconds left in this game. He showed versus UCF that he can take his team down.
Rutgers.
Last week,
Ohio State.
versus Ohio State, he took the ball down at the end of the game, and then you have Ficken. You don't have to get real close, you just have to get within that 50-yard range. So these field goal kickers are changing the play calling of this game.
Maryland desperate for a conversion. They've got just one all day. Brown, incomplete at the goal line. Intended for Editawa. And here comes Mr. Craddock. Hasn't missed all year. This will be a 43-yard attempt for the lead. Craddock. It's good.
It would have been good from 65 out. He nailed that football. I mean, that was almost over the entire goal post. He nailed that ball. And again, now it sets up the situation. There's 51 seconds left. And you give the ball back to Hackenberg in this situation where he's proven he's pretty good.
Second field goal of the day for Craddock. He's now 20 for 20 on the season with an extra 20 yards if he needed it. And Maryland has the lead with 51 seconds to go. Different reactions on the Maryland side and the Penn State side. And now it goes back to the Nittany Lions, who are trying to avoid a 4-game losing streak for the first time in a decade and get back on track. They will have 2 timeouts to work with, and they have a 19-year-old quarterback who is already developing a reputation for making big plays in fourth quarters. Christian's numbers today. It was a 19-play drive going 77 yards last Saturday night at the whiteout game against Ohio State. They drove down the field to tie it and force overtime. And now it's Haley out to the 19-yard line. So they've got 46 seconds to work with. Here's Hackenberg in his career, the fourth quarter comebacks. Those are all for wins, and then he had the game tying one against Ohio State last week, the epic 4 overtime victory, the most memorable last year against Michigan, and then the season opener over in Ireland to beat Central Florida.
We talked about the movement along the offensive line in this game coming in with the injuries, with the young guys. 3 different guys playing a different position. We'll see if they can hold up and protect Hackenberg. We know he can make plays if given time.
Sam Ficken's career long, by the way, is a 54-yarder. Ngakwe coming off the backside, and the pass incomplete, intended for Hamilton.
And that's a ball that could be caught. You can see Hackenberg, when he's coming downhill, when he rolls out, squares his shoulders, comes toward the wide receiver, throws a pretty good ball, and that one could have been caught.
2nd and 10. Hamilton and Geno Lewis to the right side. Searching to James. He gets a foot in and then gets out of bounds to stop the clock 35 seconds to go. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
A nice play surveying the field, nothing open to the right side. Knowing the progression of the play, goes out to the left sideline.
Was the right foot out of bounds. Rolling on the field was a catch. Looks like it's going to stay that way.
Plenty of time, plenty of time. Nice job by the offensive line, giving Hackenberg time to make a play.
And then he gets hit as makes the pass out of bounds by Sean Davis. There is no flag. It looked like for the briefest moment, Joey, he had a chance to run for the first down, and he chose to buy a little more time to try and throw it. So here's 4th and 1. And should that have been a penalty right there on Davis?
I think it's a bang-bang play. I think it's the end of the game. Let the players decide this game. Don't make that call. 4th and 1. They've been rolling out, and they've run for a first down in this situation also.
Hackenberg, there was a problem on the snap. He went down to a knee, and he is short of the first down. With the new starter at center today, Wendy Laurent, there was a problem on the snap, and they turn it over on downs. nutshell some of the problems that have plagued Penn State in their losses this year with the young O-line, all the changes they've had to make, and a miscue on the snap. And it's 1st and 10 Maryland. They're up a point. And what a huge win this would be for the Terrapins, handing Penn State their 4th straight loss and winning for just the 2nd time in 38 meetings with the Nittany Lions. And this is also win number 6 to make the Terps bowl eligible. It was Brad Craddock with the game winner, a 43-yard field goal with 51 seconds to go. And Maryland hits the road to beat Penn State.